Hello everyone, I am Sachin Toraskar. I am from Akalus and today's date is 4 August 2022. And today's topic we will discuss with the Spring Boot JP. What is a JP Spring Boot? JP is a Java specification for the meaning relational data in the Java application. It allows us to the access and the persist data between Java object and class and the relational database. JPA follows the object relation mapping ORM, that is the it is a set of interface, and it is also provides a runtime entity manager API for the processing queries and the transactions transactions on the object against the database, and it uses the platform independent object oriented queries languages. JPQL Java JPQL, that's the JPQL means the Java persistent queries language, and it is in the context of the precedence of the converse three areas: the Java persistence API, object relations, metadata, and the API itself, the defined in the persistence package. JPA is not a framework, and it define the concept that can be the implemented by the framework. Uh, five five should be the use JPA. JPA is a simpler, cleaner, and lumber uh, less lumber intensive than the JDBC, SQL, and hard return the mapping. JP is suitable for non performance oriented the non performance oriented the application. The main advantages of JPA is data is represented by the object and classes file in the JDBC. Data is represented by uh, tables and records, and it uses the Pojo class, that is the Pojo to represent precedent data that simplifies the database programming. And there are the some other advantages of the JPA. JPA avoids the return DDL in a database. DDL means data defining language. Data defining language. The direct of the SQL interested for the this is allow mapping in the XML or using Java annotation. That is the JPA allows us to the avoid the writing DML. DML is the database specification dialect of SQL. JPA allows us to save and load JPA Java object and graphs without any DML language at all at all. And when we need to the performance query JPQL, it allows us to the express queries in the terms of the entity, rather than the native query, that is the SQL table and the columns. JPA features, there are follows the features of the JPA it is a powerful and respiratory, repository and custom and object oriented programming like object oriented abstraction. It supports for the cross-store and the uh, persistence. It means the entity can be partially stored in a MySQL and the Neo4j graph database management. It it dynamically it dynamically it dynamically generated the queries from the methods name and the domain base classes, provides base properties. It supports the transparent transparent auditing uh, possible to the integer custom repository code, and it is easy to integer with the Spring framework with the custom nameplace. The architecture JPA is a source to the stored business entity as the relational entity. It is the it is how to define a POJO class, that is how to manage the entity with relational, and the following figure describes the classes level architecture of the JPA that describe the core classes and the interfaces of JPA, that is the defines the JavaX persistence package. The JPA architecture contains the following units: uh, persistence, and it is the class that is the contains static method and the obtain and the entity manage factory instance and entity manager factory. It is a factory classes of the entity manager, and it creates the manages multiple instance of the entity manager and entity manager. It is the interface. It is the interface. It contains the persistence operations and the persistent operation and on the object to its works, and the instance of entity are the persistence objects store as record in the database, and persistence units. It defines the set of all entity classes in the application's entity manager instance, and the manager managing it. The set of entity is the classes represent the database contained within the single database store. Entity transaction, it has one to one relation heap with the entity manager class. For each entity manager, operation are maintained by the entity transaction class, and query is the query is in the interface that is implemented by the each JPA vendor to the obtained relational object that the meet criteria. And thank you friends watching this my video. Thank you so much.
बस करा सर म्हणतील इतकं कसं काय
थांबा
बोलतो.
थोडं.
अरे वाद झालं ती एक 10 अगोदर 1 मिनिटाचा व्हिडिओ झालाय. पहिल्या दिवशी मोठा क्लास